你好. Hello everyone. My name is Ding Li. I'm the Vice President of Nonprofit Incubator. NPI is the intermediate agency supporting the development of social sector in China. In past 10 years, we incubate more than 500 NGOs and social enterprise. And every year, we're collaborating with more than 1,000 social entrepreneurs in China. Today, we are going to talk about how to start a social venture at an imperfect surroundings. Well, I think if you want to start a social venture at an imperfect surroundings, the first step is infiltrate. Well, it may sound like an espionage movie, spy movie. Yes, it is. Because I think every single social entrepreneur I know, they have very big heart. But I mean, if you only have a big heart, it's not really enough. You really need to get prepared for that. So infiltrate means you really need to get to know the people you are going to support, or the people around the social challenges that you want to tackle with. For example, if you want to help certain underprivileged groups, you really need to understand their geographical kind of background and demographical background. And at the same time, you really need to live with them. You really need to understand what's their dreams, what's their fears, and what's their advantages and what kind of disadvantage they are facing. We need to move from sympathy to empathy, because we really need to step into their shoes to see the problem, to see the challenges. And secondly, I think it's very important to know the trait. So it's who are your peer groups? So whom already doing what to try to tackle these societal challenges? Maybe sometimes we need to look at the private sector. Maybe there's some kind of companies already doing similar kind of work, but you maybe have some new ideas, but you really need to look at the current situation. So I can give you an example, like the very famous entrepreneur called Howard Hughes. So when he was young, that he wanted to start a new business, he also kind of like pretended to be an engineer and asking for a job in one of the competitors. I mean, it's basically for social entrepreneurs. I think you really need to maybe you really need to work for a social venture, another social venture for a while, but basically you need to at least to talk with the people who know the trade inside out to get more knowledge and informations. At that stage, I think perceptiveness is very important. You don't really need to make any judgment, but sometimes we need to absorb all the knowledge and informations. I think after you absorb all the necessary informations and knowledge about the people you want to serve, about the societal challenge that you want to tackle with, the next step will be strategic analysis. Well, in nowadays, we all have, too much information, but information is worth nothing if you don't really analysis. You look into it and you get some really valuable conclusions out of that. I think I can cite one or two very useful tools for you to how to, start this strategic analysis. The first one will be SWOT analysis. So it's called strengths, weakness, opportunity, threaten. It's commonly used in private sector, and it's also quite common used in social sector too. And this is a very powerful tool, help you to understand the whole industry, the whole trade, and also what will be the key point, like what will be, because normally threaten will also, or challenge also means opportunity, but you really need to think about that. And second tool is very commonly used in social sector, called the problem tree. So the problem tree is all about to find out the root cause of all the problems. Just like a doctor, if they want to cure diseases, cure a patient, you can't really cure the symptoms. You really need to find out the root cause and try to cure the diseases itself. So the problem tree is the same. Kind of like, you really need to understand not only the problems, but also like what is causing those problems. And actually, I really suggest that you are not doing this strategic analysis all by yourself. It is better to invite some friends who are really good at using all those tools, are familiar with those tools, can working with you, can lead you through all the necessary process, and then draw a conclusion. Well, the step 3, I think, is very important, is to invest yourself. Well, how to invest yourself? I think if you are going to start a social venture, you need to build certain credentials. Yeah, you need to be trustworthy to the people you are, if you, in the future you want to work with. So I think that acquire necessary certifications is very important. So it's not only you learn the knowledge, but you also have to show people that you already have certain level of skills and skill set and knowledges. So this is the first step. But also I think is very important at that stage is invest yourself into build your own leadership. So what it means leadership means is actually you need to speak out for the cause you are going to fight for. So for the the kind of things that you really need to think about is through volunteerism, to organize a group of people with like-minded to try to tackle some societal challenges. It's better link with the area you want to focus on. This is part 1, but also I would like to encourage you to attend more like forums, events, and trade shows in the related areas. And also don't be afraid to speak out to the people and to also discuss with them, and that people know that you are also have great interests, and also to show your opinions. So this is not about show off, it's really about to sincerely to get into conversation and also let people know you naturally. And last but not least, I think is also very important to have this mentally and financially readiness. But it's depending on how challenging your surrounding is. For example, in China, we will normally you will convince that people, the future social entrepreneurs, will have at least 12 to 24 months of living cost. But maybe in Europe, some of my friends say, well, they will tell their incubatees maybe you need to prepare about 6 months. So that's actually highly depend on each countries and each regions. But also mental readiness, because start a social venture is very challenging, that you really need to make sure you are mature enough to face all the challenges. So I think after you get all the necessary informations and you did strategic analysis and you invest yourself and you are fully ready for the endeavor ahead of you, I think the next step, step 4, is alliance building. So it's basically you need to find allies in every key stakeholders. It actually depends on the different nature of the social venture, but I mean, there are actually some key stakeholders for you to consider, like some government agencies in your related field, private sectors, the person from your peer group, the other NGOs and social enterprise who also focus in this kind of area, and your future team. Not only the volunteers, but also like your future board members. At that stage, you need to start to think and be prepared for that. And also at this stage, it's very important for you to think about purposeful networking. So you are actually meeting people, but every time if you are going to meet with some key stakeholders, you need actually write it down what kind of informations you want to gathering, and also what kind of support or future kind of collaboration that you might actually get, and what you can offer and what you want to get it back. So this kind of things is very important. Well, I think after all the 4 steps, I think the social entrepreneurs must be really ready to get it going. So it's basically now is the startup stage, the real, get things done stage. So I would like to suggest called lean startup. So it's basically at that time, you really need to have a small team. You better have a partner with you, but even you cannot find a partner, is basically you have this founding teams who can work with you to build some hypothesis first, and then test it really quickly. And you need to analyze every steps. If it succeed, that you get some experience. If you failed, unfortunately, but you can still, because it's start from small, from baby steps, you can quickly learn and and gathering more information about lessons, and then to make another hypothesis and then test again. So I can give you an example like our own experiences. So actually, when NPIs first started up in 2006, at the very beginning, we just want to conduct some capacity building programs to the social entrepreneurs. But we found out that actually at that time in Shanghai, you don't really have that kind of market. Then actually we think, but you still have people who want to set up a social venture. So then we also learn from experience from commercial incubators. So then we actually have our first program called the nonprofit incubator. So that is actually how NPI starts. So this is also a very good story about how you feel fast but it's feel cheap, and you can just come back again. Okay, today we're talking about 5 concrete steps about how to start a social venture at an imperfect surroundings. So step 1 is infiltrating. Step 2 is strategic analysis. And step 3 is invest yourself, which is very important. And step 4 is to alliance building. And step 5 is the lean startup. Now you can get it going. So I wish all those informations, instructions can provide some kind of help for you to start this amazing and yet also challenge journey. And wish you good luck.